when it comes to working with someone online, you need to set realistic expectations of what are the results that you want to get done inside of your business. Hey there, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now, my goal at this video is to show you what are the challenges when it comes to outsourcing and how you can solve them. Now, if this is your first time on my channel, my name is Lai Lacaba. I've been working from home since I was 15 years old and now run an outsourcing company here in the Philippines. And I post videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to have a business from home. So make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos. Now, in a lot of the previous videos that I've done on outsourcing, and well, I've done a lot. I talk about like how to start, how to get through it with my top tips, but I wanted to also dive in on what are the challenges that a lot of people face when they're doing this for the first time. And even if you've been doing this for a while, I want to give you a heads up on what are the different things that you should look out for as you start working with employees online. Now, if you have no idea what outsourcing is, very briefly, it's basically when you hire people outsourced. So it could be from a different city, different state, different country. So that's kind of where that kind of comes from. And with the recent pandemic, a lot of people have been shifting to working online, which is why I have this whole channel of how to do just that. Now, in my outsourcing company where we hire executive assistants for solopreneurs and small business owners, outsourcing can be scary. Outsourcing can be very new. So these are the top things that I usually also tell them to watch out for as we're working with them. Now, the first challenge is it will take a while to find a good match, especially if you don't have the clarity of who it is that you need. That's why in a lot of my videos, I talk about making sure that you are providing clarity within yourself of who it is that you need. You start with tasks, and I have a video on what tasks to delegate. You also go through what's the personality type or the character of the person that you need. And also, even if you need someone part-time, full-time, or if you need an executive assistant or a virtual assistant, because there is a difference to both, and you guys can check out that video right here. But you want to have clarity before you even start hiring, so then it's going to be easier to find that match. Because again, like I said, it will take a while to find that match. Inside of 2XU, within my company, I usually even tell our clients it takes about 4 to 8 weeks to find someone. It takes that long because the process can be grueling. You know, we're finding people in different platforms, we are filtering through, we're giving them skills tests. It does take a while, so just gonna keep that in mind as you get started. Is the first person that you get probably isn't the one. It's probably going to be another one until you have clarity within yourself of who it is that you actually need to work with. There's also a matter of matching people with your management style. For example, like if you're someone who is more delegative, then you need someone who takes initiative. If you are someone who needs a lot of communication, then you find someone who can communicate at that same level as you. Next challenge is having unrealistic expectations with the other. Or basically just unrealistic expectations. A lot of the time when we are working with someone online, or we don't talk to someone as often as you would if you were in an office setting, there's going to be misinterpretations or just expectations that are not even rooted on what is the real thing. So when it comes to working online, when you're working with someone remotely, you want to make sure that you guys have an alignment of what are the goals and tasks that actually need to get done, what are the priorities, so you can make sure that those are the things that can first be focused on and first things that could be done. What I even recommend is have it as a routine. You know, do it daily at the first, weekly then, and then monthly. You guys have these review for the month and also setting the next month, so you guys again are on the same page of where things are supposed to be. The next challenge is not having the right tools, and I have a whole video on the top tools that you need when you're working online. But basically what I mean by this is that you might be using tools that aren't really used. You might be paying for tools that aren't really the right ones for you. You need to have a way to check regularly if the tools that you're currently working are the best ones, or if there's a need for you guys to shift into using another one just to make things more effective. Tools, when it comes to working online, are essential to make sure that things can work even if you guys are on different time zones. Let's say you're asleep and your assistant's awake. It's going to be harder for you guys to be able to make sure that things get done if the tools aren't set up right. So take the time to review your tools, look at what you're currently using, and if you're not using any, make sure when you're researching it, it actually matches what it is that you need, because there's a ton of tools out there depending on what it is that you want to see in your business. So experiment, try to find them, and assess from time to time if they're still the right tool for you. Next is simply a mismatch when it comes to goal setting. What I mean by this is there's this saying saying, we always overestimate what we can do in 3 months and underestimate what we can do in 3 years. What this means is we always put so much pressure on getting a lot of things done, especially when you don't see the other person that you're working with, if they're actually getting things done, that you try to set these goals that needs to be done right away, or these forecasts or these things that you want to make sure gets done in a few months that will actually take longer. When it comes to working with someone online, you need to set realistic expectations of what are the results that you want to get done inside of your business. There's really that need that you guys are aligned on what are the things that you guys want to hit, and have a regular way that you can have a forecast, for example, of how you want the week, the month, the quarter, and the year to look like, so you can always keep adjusting based on what actually realistically is happening. Next challenge when it comes to outsourcing or working with people online is just overspending. And this is a real thing because you're not physically giving out cash, because you have everything all online. It can be so easy and tempting to just not check your own books, to not check your own records of what it is that you're spending on. You can have your assistant keep track of what are the costs so far inside of your business when they come out, and if they're actually like rating it from 1 to 10, like, do we actually need this in our business? Kind of like what I was talking about with the tools, there might be things that you're spending on that you should probably stop, that you should probably review if you actually need it still in your business. Again, you can have your assistant or your employee track these expenses for you and let you know, hey, I don't think we need this anymore. The next challenge when it comes to outsourcing is that your virtual assistant will get burnt out. And this is something that I've seen a lot, and this is one of the reasons why a lot of people fail at outsourcing, is just burning out their assistant. They're either giving too many tasks, or just enough tasks but not enough clarity, or there's just a mismatch of the personality types, like I said earlier. That's why it takes a while to find the right person, is you want to make sure that not just the skills is a match, it's also the character and their mindset is a match for who you need in your business. One of the things that we do in 2XU is when we have our assistants send in their daily report, we actually have a check-in of how are you doing from a rate of 1 to 10 today. And usually for me as an employer, that's a good gauge for me to see where they are at. That's me checking in on the assistant to see if they are still on track, if they feel like they're being off track, and if they just need a little bit of encouragement. So for this, on how to fix this, one is make sure that you're giving them the tasks that they can actually handle. Two is just doing a quick check-in. Just asking them, hey, how are you doing? Do you need anything? Even asking these simple questions is already going to be more than enough for your assistant to feel supported, to feel like, hey, even though I'm grinding, even though I'm doing all of this work, my boss has my back. And they feel more supported, and it will be basically just a gentler transition for them from being burnt out to feeling that support and that encouragement to keep going. Another challenge that we see when it comes to outsourcing is just not communicating enough. Speaking of checking in with your assistant, one of the things that we usually encourage is usually in the first 2 weeks is you have actually a daily sync call with your assistant. So you're also training them and you're checking in on them at the same time. Afterwards, we recommend a weekly meeting where you guys are setting the intention for the week, looking back in the last week so they can give you a report of what are the things that were done and what are the things that weren't done, and checking in on projects. When it comes to working online, there's actually no such thing as over communicating unless you set that boundary. But at the start, you really want to have that clear line of communication between you and your employee. So then you guys are learning each other's rhythms, you're learning how the other one communicates and how to communicate with the other effectively. Next challenge when it comes to working online, and this is something that we literally just went through, is just natural disasters or health issues. So last December, there was this big super typhoon, literally category 5, that went through our city in Cebu. And for a few days, a lot of our employees did not have electricity, did not have internet, did not even have data, cell signal, to be able to tell us what was going on. And until now, there's still parts of the city where there's no electricity yet, there's no internet. Data just goes off without us knowing why it went off. So you have to make sure that you are aware of the situation of your employees. If there is a typhoon coming, that you guys prepare for it, any backups, buying them power banks, for example, or any resources that they need, backup cafes or co-working spaces they can go to, and simply supporting them as best as you can as they try to shift towards making sure that they have, they're taking care of their family and then working with you. Now, when it comes to health issues, this is something that's just not avoidable. Even if you were working in an office, it's probably still that people are going to get sick. So make sure that you have backups, that you have ways to deal if ever that they're sick, that they have to be out for the day. And again, making them feel supported and encouraged, like, hey, you need to take a rest, because you want to help them avoid that virtual assistant burnout. Another challenge that we usually see, and again, this is another one that we just saw, is they might leave. it might just not be a match. It might not just make sense for them or you that they're in your company. So with this one, I know this is a little bit of a harder topic to talk about or to listen to, but they will leave. That's just the natural cycle of things. They won't love your business as much as you do. They will have other opportunities. They might leave for, continuing school or for another career or just a better opportunity. And that's something that you can't really stop. So for that one, there's not really a fix other than making sure that you are helping them make this, wherever you're at, your business be one of the best places that they work in, whether that's giving them encouragement, giving them all the resources that they need to keep going. It's just being the best option for them, because if they want to leave, then that is up to them. And you have to part as friends, because you never know, who they can recommend, who they can refer to you in the future. So make sure that you, at least if they do leave, you part as friends. Now, the biggest challenge when it comes to outsourcing or working with employees online is it might just not be for you. And I know a couple of people who just can't work with people online, who needs to have their people in person, in an office, physically with them. Now, again, with the pandemic, that's changed and shifted, but there's still a ton of people out there who would rather see their employees in an office, who would rather be able to talk to them in person and not have everything online. So that actually is a real thing, and that is a thing that, again, it might just not be for you. So try to assess your business once in a while if it's still something that works for you, if it's still something that can be done inside of your business. Because again, outsourcing isn't for everyone. I've said this multiple times. So you want to look at if realistically, is this something that I can keep going and doing. Now, if you guys like this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button right there and comment below. What are the challenges that you've gone through as someone who's hired online? Please let me know. And if you still haven't, make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to have a business from home. And you guys can check out those two playlists right here and the newest video right here. I hope you guys have an awesome day. Remember that small steps matters, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!